African American women and their role in American history. When I think about the role of the African American woman in American history, I first have to think about how African American women got here. They were brought over on slave ships against their will. They were sold at auctions. They were separated from their family members. They were exploited mentally, emotionally, sexually, economically. They didn't have any rights. They were not even deemed as people. Think about the African American woman. When I think of the African American woman, I think of one who is the backbone of her family. I think of one who is a nurturer, who is able to get through things that might seem overwhelming or overbearing for others. Growing up, she was known as Flossie. Specifically, when I was a little girl, I remember that my mother made the decision to allow my grandmother to watch me so that she could go into the military to make a better life for us. My mother went into the military, did what she had to do, got through basic training, and then she came back for me, and she came back for my brother. That is so like her. She will take a risk of faith. She will step out, do whatever it takes to succeed, and then she'll come back for her children. She'll come back for those that she loves. And then she allows us to partake in those things that she worked for. My mother has always been there for me, even though my grandmother had me for some years when I was younger. I remember my mother always being there for me. I remember her being a working mom. I remember my mom coming down the street in her black Monte Carlo with her, I used to call it a cowboy hat, but she was a drill sergeant. She was Drill Sergeant Montgomery at the time. As humble as she is, she's an awesome leader. And I just remember those Christmases at home when we didn't really have a lot. We were doing better than we had ever done before, but my mom would make Christmas so extra special. I remember my brother and my sister and I sitting down and opening up presents. And actually, before Christmas would come, we would go and we'd be casing the tree and looking around. We would have so many presents up under that tree. It was insane. Need notes for this part. I believe another thing that has made my mother so special is her ability to teach me, to show me what it's like to be a good mom. I remember when I got pregnant with my first son, Brandon, my mother was there for me. When Brandon was born, his father and I were almost delirious trying to figure out what in the world to do with him. My mother is so unselfish. She had just went through a major surgery, and she got on the plane. She flew to where I was, and when she got there, she took care of Brandon. She sat up with him all night. He was a newborn, only about 2 weeks old. She would sit up with him all night, and the same child that we could not get to go to sleep, that we could not get to stop crying all night, all of a sudden was the perfect child. He was no longer crying. She was feeding him, taking care of him, and she really just gave me the opportunity to rest, and she stepped in. She was super mom, and that was so important to me. At the birth of both of my children, she was there. In 2005, Joyce decided that she would no longer stay at her government job. She even made the decision not to retire. She was going to retire very soon so that she could move forward and pursue her dreams. She wanted to be an entrepreneur. She wanted to own a daycare. She currently was working at a daycare on Fort Hood. She loved children. She loved what she did, but she knew that there was so much more to what she was doing. So she opened up after many years or in months of research, looking for the right locations, and just really praying and believing God for the right location and to do the right thing. She ended up opening up Little Lambs Learning Academy. The first location was at 3405 East Stan Shooter Loop on the highway. And then shortly after that, she opened up a second location, which was over on Stan Schluter Loop. She had 2 locations for several years. And then she opened up the one location that she currently has, which is at 4402 South W.S. Young, Little Lambs Learning Academy, where it houses the children, the number of more children actually, than what could be held at both of the former locations. And so she is doing great. She is doing even better, I think, than she imagined that she would do.